Benjamin Franklin. You know, we all think we know the guy. But what if the story we've been told is really only half the picture? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this pretty fascinating claim from the Rosicrucian Order, one that suggests there was a hidden, secret side to one of America's most iconic figures.
I mean, we all recognize this man, right? He's on our money. We still use his inventions. His diplomatic genius literally helped create a nation. It's kind of funny, even though he lived over 200 years ago, Franklin somehow feels as modern as we are. He was the ultimate polymath, the real deal.
So that leads to the big question. Where did all this incredible, multifaceted greatness actually come from? Was it just natural talent and a ton of hard work? Or was there something more? You know, a hidden philosophy, or maybe even a secret source of knowledge that was powering his extraordinary life? Okay, so to even start to wrap our heads around that, we first have to appreciate the sheer scale of his achievements. It's so easy to forget just how much this one person accomplished. Let's take a quick look. This timeline really just scratches the surface. He starts as a printer's apprentice, and get this, by his early 40s, he retires to focus on science and public service. I mean, who does that? Then he goes on to become this key figure in the American Revolution and a world-famous diplomat. Just an absolutely incredible career. You hear the phrase jack of all trades, but honestly, that doesn't even begin to cover it for Franklin. He organized the postal system, founded a university, designed currency, invented bifocals. He was even a swimming teacher. The list just goes on and on. This wasn't just a man who was good at one thing. It really seemed like he was great at everything he tried.
And this quote, this really gets to the heart of it. It suggests that everything we just saw, the inventions, the diplomacy, all that public service stuff, was just a reflection of something much deeper. So, the real question is, what in the world was happening in that inner life?
All right, let's do it. Let's peel back the layers and take a look at the personal beliefs and the moral systems that guided the man behind the legend. See, Franklin wasn't just winging it. He had a system. He came up with what he called a bold and arduous project of arriving at moral perfection. And to do it, he made a list of 13 virtues and carried a little notebook with him where he tracked how he was doing on each one, every single day, for decades. Talk about dedication to self-improvement.
And his spiritual life? Whoa, that was a whole other story. The materials we're looking at say he wasn't a conventional Christian, but he wasn't an atheist either. He kind of developed his own personal beliefs in a supreme God, in a form of reincarnation, and he saw Christ as just one of many great prophets. For his time, that was seriously unconventional.
Now this brings us to Poor Richard's Almanac. We usually think of it as just a collection of witty sayings, right? But it was so much more. It was a complete ephemeris, full of detailed astrological information people used to predict everything from the weather to major events. The Rosicrucian account even calls Franklin an astrologer of attainments, which hints at a much deeper, more esoteric knowledge than he's usually given credit for.
And this is where it all starts to come together. All these different threads, his unique philosophy, his interest in this kind of esoteric knowledge, they all lead to one central claim: his connection to the Rosicrucians, a philosophical secret society that's dedicated to studying the hidden laws of the universe. Now, you might think, Rosicrucians? That sounds a little out there. But check this out. This image shows the Rosicrucian settlement at Ephrata, Pennsylvania, which was founded way back in the early 18th century. The point is, the Rosicrucians had a physical community right there near Philadelphia, just as Franklin was starting his career. They were practically in his backyard.
And then we get this. This is the big one, the bombshell claim, and it's coming directly from the head of the Rosicrucian Order. The claim isn't just that Franklin was a member, but that he was a founder of a new group in Philadelphia. I mean, if that's true, it completely reframes his whole story. It suggests he was a key player in this secret philosophical tradition.
So, okay, if this claim is true, what evidence did he leave behind? Well, people who support this theory point to a legacy that's kind of hidden in plain sight, in the signs and symbols he influenced.
The search for clues, believe it or not, goes all the way down to his handwriting. Some graphologists look at the unusual curls in the forward slope of his signature and say they see signs of an inventive, loving, and sympathetic nature. The argument here is that these exact qualities line up perfectly with the philosophical ideals of the Rosicrucian Order, which are represented by symbols like the rose and cross.
So, in the end, this perspective views Franklin's entire life not just as a founding father, but as a resplendent testimony to the Order of the Rose and Cross. From this viewpoint, his life's work wasn't just about politics or science. It was a living, breathing example of high philosophical principles.
So what do we do with all this? It really leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question, doesn't it? If we entertain this narrative, how does it change our view of Benjamin Franklin? It suggests that behind the practical inventor and the clever statesman, there was also a mystic, a seeker of hidden wisdom, whose inner life just might have been the secret engine for all his public triumphs. It's a fascinating thought to sit with.